Hey, family, and welcome back to Woman's Heart Podcast, Lifestyle Podcast. Have you ever considered your level of deserve? It truly is a mindset. In today's episode, we're diving into the world of mindset coaching with the incredible trailblazing entrepreneur and one of the top mindset coaches in the field. And she is the founder of Law of Deservability. So join us as we explore Bridget's journey and uncover the keys to unlocking a mindset full of success. So keep watching and you can get your blessing today. Hi, and welcome back to Woman's Heart Podcast, a wellness and lifestyle podcast. I'm so excited you're joining me for another empowering message because today we have a truly inspiring guest, Bridget Hom. Now, Bridget is one of the top mindset coaches. She launched into entrepreneurship during a time when people were really pursuing and reinventing their personal professional evolution in their lives and in their businesses. She has coached hundreds of entrepreneurs and has influenced thousands of entrepreneurs and leaders nationwide in the Find Your Freedom program, which we'll hear more about later. She is the founder of the Law of Deservability and trains individuals to master emotional intelligence and take action in their businesses and relationships. So think of me as your chief encouragement officer, bringing you firsthand expertise from a mindset coach, thought leader, and entrepreneur who is committed to elevating and empowering the world around her to find freedom. Welcome to the show, Bridget.
Thank you so much, Edna. And yeah, let freedom ring. That's what just went in my brain. I'm like, let's all experience this freedom of entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So I would love to, I want to jump right on in because I want to get started. And I would love for you to share with us from your heart who you are and what makes you get up in the morning.
Well, what makes me get up in the morning is that I've committed to doing a fit on workout every morning right now. And I actually encourage so many other female entrepreneurs with this workout app. Not doing a plug here, but it is exceptional.
Awesome.
But what really wakes me up every morning is that I know that I have to get stuck on ready to make moves and empower the person in front of me. It really has just, you know how people are like, are you doing coaching or are you a coach?
Right.
I'm pretty sure I've just become this way. This is me all the time. Empowerment is a brain setting. And then, of course, the three boys need to eat breakfast. So I'm in charge of the breakfast. And then the husband's going to be like, hey, what's going on today? So I'm the agenda setter. And so between, being a wife, a mom to three savages, my three sweet boys, and getting to empower the people who have entrusted me, with their business growth. That's really what wakes me up. And then I'm like, God, what next? Because God is my employer. So
yes, I agree. I love that. I love that God's your employer and you know it because he's everyone's really, but everyone doesn't know it. So understanding that is a huge part of taking that leap into entrepreneurship and having that mind of kingdom building as you're building your business. So why don't you share with us, Bridget, a little bit about like your journey and what led you to this current work that you're passionate about?
Well, I would love to say that it was complete passion driven, but it was really more about desperation.
Okay.
When I launched my coaching business successfully, having clients, right? It was during the reinvention evolution of 2020, where I just moved out of my big, beautiful home. I was on my way to getting Zoom divorced. And many women who are listening in understand what it's like. Maybe not the Zoom divorce part. That's a whole nother animal, but still, divorce. And then I had three young boys and I just moved into an apartment and I was in the seniors industry and it was still entrepreneurship. I could go near a senior citizen at the time, right?
Right. They shut everything down. You couldn't visit. You maybe could do the virtual thing, but that was it.
Exactly. And it was kind of the perfect time to launch an online business. And I didn't realize that at that moment because it was just like one foot in front of another, right? Be ready before you feel ready. And so I got a random Zoom business networking link. Didn't know what that even was, right? People today are like, what is Zoom business? What? Like that's And so I showed up to this meeting at 8 a.m. on a Thursday morning, and this gentleman, Brian, goes, Bridget Hom, give your 30 seconds. And I'm like, dang it, he mispronounced my last name. What am I supposed to say? And he said,
It is home, right? It's not home, it's home.
it's Hom. And he didn't know
Okay.
that. We're big
It's
friends
no
today.
E at the end, it's home.
Yes. Hom, not home. But sometimes I'll
Right,
say
right,
home without the E.
right. I love that.
And he literally, I mean, he didn't know. And he's such a good friend to this day. I'm so blessed to have met so
Mhm.
many people through the online space.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just said, Bridget Hom here, Bridget of Freedom Coaching. Are you ready to level up? And I had 6 clients within 6 weeks.
Wow, people's ears perked up. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Right.
And then all my programs, my 90-day Find Your Freedom program was created, my self-paced programs, group sales trainings, live motivational speaking engagements, and then best-selling book Stuck Already. And well, and here we are today.
Yes, absolutely. And your book Stuck on Ready. I want to hear a little bit more about that. By the way, I got the book. And I have the book on audio. So it's your book on audio and you get the book, which I loved. It came in the mail last week. I was like, oh my gosh, this, because I forgot I ordered it. I was like, what came in the mail? And when I opened it, I was like, it's Bridget's book. It's so exciting. So I love it, love it. I love the cover, love everything about it. Beautiful.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Don't you love when things just show up on your doorstep and you're like,
You're like, I know, what did I order? Because I've been going on, I've been stuck on Ready and doing my thing last week. And when it came, it was a pleasant surprise. So
awesome. I'm so glad. Yeah. I recorded the audiobook myself, as you probably noticed.
it's really good. Did a great job. I love it. I'm listening to it. I'm still listening in. I mean, I started listening in last week, but I'll be listening in while I'm multitasking, listening in. But great way to promote the book. I love that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what inspired you? I know you said out of desperation, but now you're in the self-help industry. So what inspires you to stay in the self-help industry? What is inspiring you to stay? Because some people get in, get out, dip their foot in and get out, So why'd you stay?
I see that a lot. I see a lot of coaches quit every single day.
Yeah, yeah.
And, there's 2, the personal side. I'll tell you about that one first, and then I'll talk about the business side.
Okay.
I stay in it because the personal side, my background was journalism and ministry. What does that say? I'm incredibly curious. Curiosity killed the cat and it killed the Bridget. Okay. So I just have a fascination with people and helping them to figure themselves out. And then in turn, figure out their business growth strategy. So always a part. I was that friend of a friend who always got that phone call was, hey, so-and-so told me to call you. I'm going through some stuff.
Right, right.
And my number one question was, what's your problem? I didn't care about anything else. I wanted to speak to what they were talking to me about and on intention. And so when I was doing the ministry, I was at Notre Dame, and then I was at the Catholic campus minister, and then I'm a part of Recovery Church movement. And so ministry was just constantly, it was just a part of me, and I just needed to help people to grow. It was like just a part of who I was. It was all my heart, my mind. It was just a part of who I am. It's not just something I do. It's like I need to, in order to be my authentic self, I need to be helping someone.
Right, right. Walking in your power, because a lot of people have those gifts and talents, Bridget, but they don't hone them, right? They just kind of do this other thing, and they have this as a secondary thing when the secondary should really be the primary.
And a lot of people throw out their real authentic skill set when it comes to business growth. Like when they'll go and reach out to their friends and be like, oh my gosh, I saw this Chevy Chase Christmas meme, and oh, I saw this funny like dad joke. And then they go and do business, and they reach out to prospects and they're like, hi, I hope you're well. We just left ourselves at the door, right? It's like,
yeah, it's I call it pieces of ourselves before we even enter the door, because now you're coming in as something else. You're not coming in as your authentic self. You're leaving the best parts outside the door. When you open that door, it should be all of you.
And that's why people want to connect with you and me. And whoever's listening, they want to connect with you because of who you are. I call it trapped in the business in the box mentality.
I love it. I love that. So with that trapped in the business in the box mentality, I'm sure I'm going to segue over into your freedom programs, because your freedom programs and Stuck on Ready book are helping people kind of get moving forward. And so tell us a little bit about your freedom programs and how they have helped others transform.
Well, a couple of people that I worked with right off the bat. One woman, she was an ER doctor turned entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have this huge shift of people leaving their jobs or being fired from their jobs, even more tragically, and then they're venturing into entrepreneurship. And so there's this huge mass exodus into that. And so when I met this woman, she was wanting to know how to master the successful entrepreneur mindset. And she needed to know all those different components: sales, branding, marketing, right? Social media. And so when we met, and actually after we worked the entire 90-day program, she said she felt like she met herself for the first time, and she successfully launched 2 businesses.
Awesome.
And so it's always, and then there's people who have said, I just wanted to master the closing conversation. Right. Or another person said, I was able to actually have everything. I know how to honor my roles and my goals. I have a romance with my life. It bettered everything. My business growth, I was able to get to X amount of number, right? Because everyone has a different mindset of what success looks like. Some it's 10K a month. Others, it's $1 million a year. It's different for each one of the people I get to partner with, but always honoring that intention of success for them.
I love that. I love that you say you get to partner with, because that it is a partnership. When you go into a coaching relationship, it's a partnership. You are there to coach them, move them forward, and hopefully they're doing their homework, right? And they're there to transform. And so it becomes this partnership of a dual conversation. It's not a monologue, it's a dialogue.
Always. And I always say, you want to hire and fire the right mental team, because as solopreneurs and coaches and consultants, we consult our mental team before we do consult anybody.
Right. Exactly. Agreed. As an entrepreneur, I understand that. I'm right there with you. So I want to go back to the book, because Stuck on Ready. So what inspired you to write the book? I mean, can you give us like 3 tips from your book that could encourage the listeners today?
Oh, absolutely. I would say, the book is all about mastering the successful entrepreneur mindset, but breaking free from self-sabotage, because that's what stunts our business growth and stops us and say, hey, we're going to go back to the 9 to 5 because, well, I feel like I can't master entrepreneurship. And understanding limitless potential. So I'm going to speak to those 3 points of the subtitle of the book. The number one way to stop being the sabotaged entrepreneur or coach and become the successful stuck on ready one is to master the ability to be problem aware and solution seeking. So many of us get into that place where we only see obstacles, or we only see opinions or objections. Right. And then we're in a state of sabotage. I heard this yesterday. The hippocampus part of your brain is the part of your brain that's always programming. And when we get into a state of negativity, those neural pathways are created, and it makes it so much faster. If we just have a negative thought and we share it with somebody else, it actually starts to develop that as a program. Right. And so when we have that program, then that program is activated in all of our prospecting conversations. When we're trying to make moves for business growth and scale our company, when we're having conversations with clients. So making sure that you're intentional about being problem aware, but then solution seeking. So that's number 1.
Exactly. Okay.
Number 2, breaking free from self-sabotage. I always say hire and fire the right mental team. Being self-aware, then practicing self-control and self-discipline. Because without self-control and self-discipline, we can't master the successful entrepreneur doing, because we have to take action in the right direction. But that means, I love that book, Eat That Frog. And that's why I do my fit-on workout in the morning. And you could see me on that app, by the way. Get it done.
Yeah, it's like get it done early. Get that thing done early. Because if you wait till the evening time and say, oh, I'll just wait and I have time, something happens and you don't get to do it. So making it happen early makes a huge difference.
Well, it also gives you the direction setting for your decision making for your day.
Right.
So if you do the hardest thing first, which is always getting your butt out of bed in the morning, that's the hardest thing for all of us.
That's the hardest thing, is rolling over, getting out there, especially on days like this when it's kind of really chilly outside and a little chill in the house and it's warm in the bed. You don't want to jump out the bed.
Exactly. But once you do that, I always stress this for the people that I partner with. I said,
Right.
did you work out this morning? And I don't care if it was 5 minutes, 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. Get your body moving, do something you don't want to do to get into that disciplined mindset. Because the self-disciplined entrepreneur will take the right action, because it's feelings aren't your friends in business. Let's be real.
That's real. The feelings aren't your friend. And you said something about discipline, which I say that your discipline will override your feelings once you get the discipline in place. And it also permeates the remainder, every facet of your life, not just that one thing that you did, but everything. So once you get that in place and your whole day it's elevated and ready to go, it's now permeating everything. You've done the thing you said you want. Plus you get to check the box and say, I kept my promise to myself. That's what I like.
Yes. And it's in the world of entrepreneurship, it's so important to self-validate your success.
Right.
The last point of limitless potential. Most entrepreneurs are in this setting. My success is just possible, right? But the successful entrepreneurs see it as inevitable. So you have to get to a headspace where you start to flip that switch of my success isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And that has to do with clearing that imposter syndrome, which is just lies that you've believed over time based on objections, opinions, right? I had my family say, "What are you even doing?"
Right. I love that one. It's like, and why are you doing it again?
Bridget, just go get a job.
Right. Just go do that. It's easier to do that, right? That's the easy side of things.
Well, yeah, because most of our culture today is telling us, just be comfortable. Just your circumstances are going to dictate your decisions, and that's okay. It is not okay that my circumstances dictate my decisions. And I don't think it's okay for anyone, because it's not being authentically intentional with your direction, your decisions, or your destination of your future successful self. So this undercurrent of the culture, especially for entrepreneurs, it can take us down. We could feel like we're drowning in the circumstances, environment, situations, expectations, and emotions. But when we pause with a purpose and become intentional with what we are going to do next, that's a game changer. That's the number one difference between the sabotage entrepreneur and the successful one. We're intentional with our decisions.
I love that. That is so good. So, Bridget, I have to ask you, with all of the success you've had, I'm sure along the way there might have been some challenges, just like what you just said about, very much loving family members saying, "Oh, what are you doing? Why don't you just go get a 9-to-5?" So can you share like specifically some challenges if you faced in your journey along the way and you have had to overcome?
Absolutely. Well, my first challenge that I experienced was pushing past the negative what ifs.
Yeah,
Past
those are real.
right?
Those are real.
The employee mindset to the entrepreneurship mindset of, okay, this is my fallback plan. Well, if you sell your brain, when I sold my brain on a fallback plan, if this doesn't work, I had to actually get rid of the parachute in order to the plane. Right? Because if you or anybody else venturing into entrepreneurship has a parachute, guess what? You're not going to fly that plane really well. You're going to be thinking, well, if I screw this up,
I can just jump. Right. And save yourself, yeah, exactly. And so there's another one too. I don't know. You might have heard about Tony Robbins. He said, burn the ship and take the island. Burn the boats and take the island. I think it's burn the boats and take the island.
Yeah, burn the ships. That's there's no going back. You have to get to the place where you say there is no going back, or else you're not going to be able to engage your entire mindset.
That's real, because you keep looking back. You keep looking back, comparing it to the safety of the 9-to-5, comparing it to, I made that salary and it was kind of every other week, as opposed to being an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Well, and think about it this way. Say you're swimming. You're gonna swim across the pool. Let's keep it simple. And if you continue to look back behind you to see what's behind you, how much is it going to slow you down?
Exactly.
Versus full speed ahead and continue to fine tune your movement so you can get faster and faster and faster and be better.
Yep.
Same thing. And so overcoming challenges had to be that I had to listen to my inner voice over everybody else's objections or opinions.
Exactly.
I had to ask myself, is what they're saying true for me or about me? I had to learn to observe versus absorb. They were saying things because they were caring about me. It's just that no one.
Yeah, they care about you. They want to make sure that you're okay, but then it also speaks to their own fears.
Yeah, if you buy somebody else's fears, they're expensive.
Exactly.
Don't buy their fears. Don't buy your own limiting beliefs or sell your own limiting beliefs, especially in sales, by the way. Your prospects will.
Right.
But their undercurrent was they did care, but no one's going to see your vision as large as you see it.
Right. That I completely agree with. Yeah, that's pretty good. I love that. So on the flip side, what has been one of the most rewarding moments and achievements that you've had so far in your business? I'm sure you've had many, but maybe you could think of maybe one you could share with the audience.
I think it's honestly, most rewarding moment that I had was when I came to the realization that I could run a 10K plus business between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. when my kids were in school.
Which is a blessing.
That is my biggest.
Right in that window.
Yeah, because so many times, I did a lot of things wrong when I first got started. It's like, oh, okay, I'll take these clients at 6 and 7 p.m. Well, I was throwing myself out. I wasn't honoring my goals. So encouragement is that, yeah, that was my biggest success. I got to stay in this lane and be intentional as possible. But it's during my hours of operation that I have set to honor my roles and my goals in my life. That's my biggest success.
I love that. I love that you said honor your goals, because sometimes we say we're going to do something, try to meet it. We don't honor because we let other things get in the way. So that's really good. I love that saying. So from a personal growth perspective and self-care, because what you just said, you had to figure that out. It just didn't happen overnight. You had to kind of move in that space. So how do you prioritize personal growth and self-care in your life? And, is that something that I think based on what you said, you're getting up and you're working out, that's self-care, that's taking care of self. What are some other things and how are you prioritizing those?
Well, I'll tell you a secret. I do this in my program, and so do all the people I get to partner with. This is part of the stuck on ready mindset strategies to implement every single day, because we need something to help us to structure our day. That's the biggest problem in the world of entrepreneurship is like, all right, I used to have a boss to tell me how to structure. I used to have a manager who told me
what to do. Right.
Feel successful. And so one of the strategies that I employ every day is the 4 selves. And so I do something each day to fuel my emotional self, my spiritual self, my intellectual self, and my physical self. No, they're not personalities. 4 selves. Talk to my husband. He's like, oh, my wife.
He's like, oh, there's 4 showing up.
Right. My wife's like, I don't know who's going to show up today.
That's
but that's,
funny.
Perspective of men, right? We are different. But anyway, so the 4 selves, I laugh once a day. I make sure to laugh. Right? It's so healing. I actually, for my live event, I'm going to have a comedian show up.
Oh, that's good.
Motivational.
That's good. Yeah.
Right. We need to laugh.
How much? It's good for the soul.
And 90% of our communication is nonverbal. So if we've had a great moment, right, we can share that with others just through our energy.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. I love that.
And then physical self, spiritual self, and intellectual self. I learn something new every day. Every day. And it might not be business related, but I make sure to learn something new every day. I mean, on Apple Podcasts, something.
Awesome. Always something you can learn. That's real. I love that.
Especially with AI right now. There's definitely, it's changing by the minute, it feels like.
It's a game changer.
It is.
Definitely a game changer. I love it. And so this is, you found a way to really get some good balance. So what are your future plans and goals? Like, what are your future plans for Bridget, in terms of any programs that may be coming up, or you just mentioned you're going to have a live event, specific topics or things that you want to put out there. Just give us some idea of what your future looks like.
Well, I'm actually excited you asked that question because I am launching the 8-week self-paced on-demand Stuck on Ready program. That's with group coaching live every week, as long with open office hours. That's something new that I'm introducing as well. Making sure people have the Stuck on Ready mindset programming. So that's going to be something new that's coming in 2024. I can't believe I'm saying 2024
because it's coming. That's next month.
I know.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Every year I do the same thing. I'm like, we're here again. We're in December. The holiday just flies right by. And then we're back into the number one day of the year, January 1.
Exactly. And preparing for that is so important.
It is.
How you're going to empower the people in front of you is important as a business owner. You know, I just did a group training on the mindset of overcoming the 11 fears that most entrepreneurs struggle with, and then shifting gears into December is the biggest buying season of the entire year. People spend the most money during this time frame. Why isn't it with you?
That's a good point. Good point. I love it.
Whole training on shifting gears, do some research, do some research on people's buying behaviors right now, and how can you package gift yourself a shift first, a mindset,
right.
Your material, your product, message, or service in a way that it will serve your clients, but your clients' clients.
That's so good. I love that. So with you being this amazing entrepreneur and thought leader, is there a piece of advice that you could give our listeners that may want to venture out as an entrepreneur? What is one of the pieces of advice you could share?
Decide what your big MOFA is. And no, I'm not swearing at you. Your big motivating factor.
Right.
You know, for some, it might be, I just am saying no to the 9 to 5.
Right.
And that might be your motivating factor. That's okay. Step into that for right now.
Like. Yeah.
Or you might have something like to honor your role specifically, like my job doesn't honor my life. I want my job to honor my life. And it might be something as simple as like, I want to be picking up my kids from the school bus at 3 p.m. Or I want weekends free or something like that. Just find that number one thing that will drive you when you're in a place where you're going, I don't know if I can sell, or I don't know if I can make this happen anymore. And then you go back to that thought. It says, nope, I will keep going.
That is so good. Thank you for that. That's great advice. And so in any closing thoughts, like, is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know? Any upcoming projects? I know you shared that, but anything else you wanted to share before we jump off?
If you'd like more empowering strategies or some worksheets or just more motivation for sales, branding, marketing, mindset, and social media, you could hop into my community. I'm personally inviting you to the Bridge to Freedom coaching community for entrepreneurs on Facebook. And get my book for free at stuckonready.com because I believe you deserve success. And that covers the Law of Deservability. So we didn't even touch on that. So check out the book so that you can get into that high deservability for your entrepreneurial life.
Yeah, well, let's touch on it for a minute. Deservability. You founded that terminology. So tell us a little bit about deservability before we roll out.
Well, the truth is most sabotaged entrepreneurs and coaches are in that desire, in that wanting, which is from a place of lack, right?
Right.
So high deservability is all about action. It's about that deeper subconscious program of what you believe you deserve. So once you get into that place of, I'm not in desire, I'm in deservability, then you see that success can truly become inevitable. And alignment becomes the highest form of energy in your interactions. So you stop living in a justification of, oh, I just don't have enough time, or that's living in a lie. Justifications are lies, and you don't have to justify the next thought or action. And so high deservability is about being in total alignment, your thoughts, words, actions. So we get to that level of manifestation.
I love that. That is great, great. I love that deservability. So make sure you write that down. Get a piece of paper and a pen and write down deservability, and then go get Bridget's book because it's awesome. You can listen to it on tape, or you can read it, and then you can highlight in the book. That's what I love to do. Listen to what you're saying, highlight in the book, and make some notes. So awesome, awesome, Bridget. So it has been truly a pleasure having you on the show today, Bridget. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to share some gold nuggets and some wisdom with the audience.
Anytime, Edna. Thank you for being empowering to these female entrepreneurs and business owners.
Thank you.
We deserve
Absolutely. The deservability, we deserve it. We deserve the best. That's why I had the best on the show. So thanks for coming out. So, and as we wrap up, if you have enjoyed our time together, remember to share this podcast, like and subscribe, and tell a friend, and mark your calendars for our annual virtual vision board workshop. This is the third year I've taught the vision board. It will be scheduled for Thursday, December the 28th, 7 to 8:30. You can register on my coaching site, iceconsulting.com, or you can go to Eventbrite and get the link. For the listening audience too, I want to remind you, as a confidence and mindset coach, my passion lies in assisting women in discovering and embracing their inner strength. So I offer a range of services, including coaching, educational services, training programs, empowerment workshops, and networking events for women all over the world. For more information, you can reach me at voemetoday@gmail.com, or you can go up on the website under voicesoфencouragement.com. And until we meet again, Ephesians 4:1, walk worthy of the call for which you were called.